Host. My name is Aurora Dimitre, and I'm going to be reading a selection from my book SPAHN, which is the first book in the Venditic trilogy. So they get pretty blazed before continuing, and because of this, none of them really realize what they're looking at when they stumble into this big cavernous room that's got enough light to see by and a big altar with Stevie eviscerated on it in the middle. Then all of them realize about the Stevie eviscerated in the middle part, and they all spend a little bit of time freaking out and wondering if it's real. And Nico feels like his entire body is just tingly and floating and like he might be dehydrated or something. Stevie's eviscerated and dead on the altar in front of him. Eventually, 3 words break through his funk. It's TJ going, "What the fuck? Is that..." Richie starts. He gags, swallows, and continues. "Is that Stevie?" "That's fucking Stevie," Adam says. He looks around wildly. "Is Eli here? Where's Eli? Why is Stevie dead without Eli?" "Because Stevie is dead. Even high as balls, they all know that you can't survive having your internal organs pulled out of your body and scattered around the room like some sort of gory preschooler has had his day with them. Stevie's entire gut and ribcage is wide open, like it was pulled apart, like someone stuck their hands in the little hollow under his ribcage and pulled, and his torso was just split in two. His eyes are wide open, and his head dangles off the back of the platform, because he's tall. Stevie's tall. You do what he asks tall." "Where's Eli?" Adam says again. This is a good question, but right now Nico's more concerned with the fact that Stevie's intestines are in a heap about 2 feet in front of him. "We gotta get out of here," he says, finally. He's seen enough horror movies to know that they have made some stupid decisions, the first probably being going down in this stupid hole to begin with, and if they stick around in the evisceration room, they will continue to die in horrible ways. Nobody's moving, though, so he says it louder. "We gotta get out of here." "Stevie," TJ says. "We gotta get out of here," Nico says again. TJ looks all shook up, honestly, which is pretty understandable given the situation, but TJ looks like if one person breathes wrong, he's going to crumble. "We gotta go tell someone like a cop or something." Richie nods eventually. Yeah, we gotta go get the cops. TJ, we gotta go get the cops." "Are there cops?" Adam said. "Are there cops here?" "There have to be," Richie says. "Something bad was gonna happen this week. There gotta be cops somewhere up there." Nico realizes that he hasn't seen a single cop, but maybe he's just been too distracted by all the booze and drugs and everything. But Richie's right. There have to be cops somewhere, because whoever put this festival, put a bunch of young, angry guys together and gave them free booze. Someone was going to get hurt this weekend. "TJ, we gotta go," Casey says. He's looking around at all of this like he doesn't know what to do, which, again, Nico figures is understandable, but it freaks him out. If one of them should know what to do, it should be KC. If KC doesn't know what to do, they're all fucked. But then KC swallows, nods, and grabs TJ's arm. "We gotta go, TJ. We'll get someone down here, but we ain't gonna do any good." "Who would do this?" TJ says. He looks around at all of them, all bewildered. "Who, Stevie? Everyone likes Stevie." Everyone does like Stevie, as far as Nico knows, but Nico also knows that some psychopaths don't care who they kill. And Stevie, who was nice and trusting and was definitely high like the rest of them, could have been lured down the wrong path by someone. Doesn't explain what the fuck happened to Eli, but hey, dude's tiny, maybe whoever killed Stevie just picked him up and carried him away. "I know, TJ, Casey says. "I know, we gotta go." Adam starts backing away, and Richie, hooking an arm around Nico again, goes with him. Nico stumbles along because he's too shocked to break out of Richie's grip, and anyway, he doesn't know if he wants to, because Richie is taking him away from this. They go back to the rope in silence, apart from harsh breaths and the occasional sniffs of someone either trying to hide the fact that they're crying or unaware of their tears until they can't breathe through the mucus buildup in their nose. Nico figures the latter because this is a situation where, he thinks, anyone would be justified in crying, and anyway, the cyanide pill guys aren't all hung up on masculinity like some of the guys here. Adam climbs the rope as fast as possible, and Richie follows him. Nico follows Richie and looks down to see Casey prompting TJ. It's gotten kind of dark. Duskish, Nico would say. He can hear Broadstone Still playing in the distance. Kinda sucks that they're missing Broadstone Still. Sucks worse that Stevie's dead. TJ tries to climb the rope, to his credit, but maybe he's shaking too hard or he just can't grip anything in his current state because he falls. About 4 times. Casey calls up, "You guys head back, we'll work on this." "Are you sure?" Richie calls back down. "Yeah, I'm sure." Nico knows that if he goes back without KC, and he's left KC in a hole where someone who eviscerated Stevie could very easily still be lurking around in, Vic will kill him, slowly and painfully. Even if KC ends up fine, Vic will kill him because while KC can generally take care of himself, it is written in their unwritten code, you don't let anything happen to KC, because if KC dies, we're all fucked, because KC is all of our impulse control, all of our intelligence, and all of anything good we might have. So instead of backing away from the hole with Richie and Adam, Nico slides back down the rope. "Vic will kill me if I leave you down here," he says. Casey snorts. "Vic will understand that." "Casey, you can't use words like Vic and understand in the same sentence and expect it to make sense." Casey sucks in his cheeks but doesn't say anything. TJ's still on the ground from when he fell the last time he tried to climb the rope, and he's just looking at his hands. He's shaking pretty bad. Richie leans over and calls down, "Are you guys coming?" "Go back and get the cops," Nico calls back. He hesitates and adds, "And don't tell Vic." Richie looks doubtful, but he nods. "Okay," he says. Him and Adam disappear, and Nico looks at Casey. Casey looks him straight in the eye, sighs, and pulls TJ to his feet. "Come on, man," he says. "Come on, give it one more shot." TJ closes his eyes for a second. "I'll give you a boost, even," Casey says. He glances at Nico. "Nico, help me give him a boost." The hole is pretty deep. Casey's about 6'1" or 6'2", so while Nico's only 5'8", they can manage to get TJ pretty high up. High up enough that he'll really only have to climb the rope for a couple of inches. Nico really does wonder how stupid they have to be to decide to follow a rope into a hole this big, but he does also know that if Stevie hadn't died, they'd be having a great time right now, so he figures that's what they were probably thinking. "Come on, Tej," Casey mutters. TJ grabs the rope. Nico stands on his tiptoes to push, his arms shaking a little. TJ pulls himself a couple of inches, and then a shape appears at the top of the hole. TJ jerks a little away from the rope and comes crashing down on top of Casey and Nico. They land in a heap on the ground, and from the fading light in the distance, Nico's only about 75% sure it's Eli up there. "Eli?" TJ calls. The other guys went back to go find... Eli doesn't say anything, but he does take out a pocket knife and cut the rope. It's a pretty old rope, old enough that it definitely could have snapped on any of them, and it falls easy. It lands with a thud on TJ's leg. Then Eli. If it's Eli, this whole thing has really bumped that percentage down to 50%, slams the trapdoor shut. It goes dark. And that is a section of SPAHN. Thank you for watching.